Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Guardian training workshop with myself, Alexis of Ascension Diaries. This is a workshop that I've been running for the last year at least, and we always meet on the 18th. Every month is a new theme, and every theme has something to do with preparing you as a metaphysical guardian of your own family, of your own space, and of your own timeline. So all of these skills and these tools I want to share with you, and all of these guardian training workshops are designed for that purpose. What's playing in the background, hopefully, of this video is the Solfeggio frequencies, which are 9 different frequencies and musics. Basically, they have 9 different notes or tones, and they'll be playing quietly in the background while we do this presentation. So I hope you enjoy. Let's continue on into the next slide. So the Solfeggio frequencies are an excellent tool that is without any sort of, I would say, direct impact on the body. There is no physical harm, or you don't need to get invasive with frequency medicine, with music, to kind of reach your cells, to activate your body, to change things, to improve things, right? So the Solfeggio frequencies are one thing that I personally was very inspired by early on in the, I would say, clearing process, or the clearing and activating of my chakras, my kundalini, my third eye, and so on. I was really drawn to this method and these frequencies very early on, and I used them as a way to initiate my kundalini awakening, opening up and processing and clearing and harmonizing each of my chakras from the most grounded state, the earthly frequencies, all the way up to the ethereal frequencies, and allowing my body to move through that process in a gentle and long format through the album that I used at the time, which I'm going to share with you. But before we get into the specifics of this, one thing I noticed while I was making this presentation was basically there is a bit of an issue with inconsistencies, I would say, with the data and the information. So this is not uncommon when it comes to these sort of metaphysical areas, especially online, because, no offense, but I find sometimes reading and comprehension of these scientific things, of these fractal math situations, of frequencies and so on, I find that people don't quite have the background to fully comprehend and apply the information. So it kind of gets muddled, and they do their very best. And I watched and I looked through and scrolled through Google images of people trying their best, making their own renditions and trying to explain the Solfeggio frequencies. But I found an amazing article online, which I decided, instead of doing all the writing and educating myself, I was going to read you this article because it has more than I would even go into. And I'm just going to have that as part of the documentation of this workshop. So you'll be able to listen to me reading this out and take in what it is that you're interested in that I'm saying, because that would be an intermediate level understanding after that, and it would be you pursuing some more research in the matter, which I would encourage you to do if you're interested, because there's so many more applications that we can use these harmonic organic frequencies versus how we are using certain scales for music now, which are slightly off. It's like fractal mathematic perfection, if that's the understanding I'm under through the research I did to back up this workshop today. So one of the major things I noticed is that some will say or discuss that there are 9 Solfeggio frequencies, which you can see here on the presentation I've written right here. These are all 9 of them, but you will see also that they will just cut, and they will cut 3 of them out of there. These ones in the gray, you can see here in the gray. I hope you can see my mouse. These ones in the gray here are ones that sometimes get cut out of the education, of the knowledge, of kind of like the popular culture, all those like infographics that are super cute. And they like to break it down to 6 instead of 9 of them. Break it down to 6 and start getting into hexagons and into the Metatron's cube shape and so on, and applying that kind of math to these sort of frequencies, which to me made no sense. So I'm just saying that right now as somebody who's been watching this and reading about this for quite a few years, hadn't really dug in until really today, majorly, to really open up and see that there is some housekeeping to do, I would say, with this particular science. But I've also learned that what resonates true for you is going to be what you remember anyways. So whatever resonates out of this presentation, I hope that you take that and continue on your own research. And I can't wait to see your comments or maybe some build-up or questions that I didn't ask underneath the comments of this workshop as I post it, and so on, to help, again, expand the conversation. If you're curious, I'm probably curious too. So let's keep that open. I just wanted to let you know. So there are certain notes that we're used to in the scales. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do is one of the more popular scales. In this particular scale, they actually got it from Gregorian chants. And so it's an older scale, and it is said ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la. Ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la. So that's only 6. Again, I didn't even catch if they had words for all of them, but it's interesting that they had only 6 of these. I want to say, what do they call that? It's basically the names of the notes in the scale, which is interesting to me. So I've been I'm not musically trained, so talking about the scales and then these arguments about musical scales online got a little bit over my head, but I was able to capture most of what is most important about these. For example, I'm also talking over the actual music, which is supposed to be played quietly to help kind of get you into those moods and shift you through the ascending frequency music up through the chakras. So with the solfeggio frequencies, one of the questions that they can answer is, what sort of pain are you currently in? Then there is I would say, a frequency to match. There is a frequency to match and sort of help balance out whatever area that you're struggling with currently. And this goes down to your organs and your chakras. They all kind of, they reside in the same place, but it is something I have to mention. So you can see here now on the one side here on the right, there are at the bottom here, the red, which starts you at 396 hertz. You can see here on the left, that's the 3rd solfeggio frequency. So they've already skipped 2 of them. And that's okay, because those are the chakras below your feet. They're in the earth. The soul star, the earth star, and then it starts going up into your body. We're going to get into that in a second. So there are extended chakras beyond the 7 in your body, but we have a little bit of a correlation here for helping the frequencies in your physical suit. There is a medicine for these particular issues. So here you can see red, the 396 hertz. You can deal with your hands, wrists, your rectum, hips, legs, feet, the base of your spine, your adrenals, your elimination system, any sort of malfunctions in weight problems, or you're having sort of even hemorrhoids, constipation, sciatica, degenerative arthritis, knee problems. So there's all of these sort of things that are connected to the earth and your root chakra system. Your root chakra, your chi, how well and grounded are you to the earth system, so you can continue to get rid of the old and input the new. So if you're having issues with that, begin listening to 396 hertz solfeggio frequency music online. That's going to be a really good way to begin opening up and loosening the area, so it can actually start talking to you and giving you some advice and information about how you can adjust yourself. Likely this is going to have to do with dietary issues. These lower chakras, if you're having any issues in there, it's mostly what you're putting in your mouth. I just have to say so. The frequencies may soothe you after you may have eaten something you're not supposed to and you're getting inflammation. Help soothe you through your body's own process of dealing with that inflammation. It will speed up that process and move it along faster. That's my understanding of how it works. There's also tuning forks you can buy. This website here that this table is from is a tuning forks website. They have a lot of other information if you're interested. somaenergetics.com was a great website to look at. But you can see here as you go up into the other notes, into the orange, orange, the 417 hertz, gold, 528. So orange, what are some issues with your orange chakra? Kidney, bladder, pelvic area, your sexual reproductive organs, your uterine area, your kidneys. So stiff lower backs. Then Then we're going up into your solar plexus, which is dealing with your stomach, your pancreas, your spleen, your gallbladder, your digestive system. You know what I mean? You may have ulcers, you may have diabetes, you maybe are dealing with hypoglycemia, gallstones, issues like this. These frequencies are meant to help. The 528 one especially is a favored frequency out of all of these. The 528 hertz, a favored one. So if you pick up anything from this and you want to try at least one, that would be one. That's a good, I would say it covers a lot of issues because again, that's the center of your body, right? So it's going to get you a little bit all over the place, I want to say is the right term. Then we're moving up again, the 639 hertz, 741 hertz, 852 hertz, and then there's more. There's the 963 after that. So there's a few. This chart is available, screenshot it, take a look. If you're having specific issues, maybe you're having issues with your eyes, maybe you're sinus, maybe you're having thalamus gland issues, whatever it is. Here is an opportunity, and you can look these up online again if you need it in the future. These graphics are always available, and take the average information from about 3 or 4 of these infographics, because I said it seems like people are kind of dancing around assigning which chakra is attentive to what frequency, which makes sense to me because we're fluid beings and our chakras aren't stagnant either. They're fluid vortexing situations, and big and small. So it's not like the game of Operation. Like there is a lot more movement going around. It's not these stiff, hard, dead things that we're pulling out of you or trying to repair in you like a robot. There's a lot more flow going on. So let's move on with the flow. We have, again, another example here, 2 more examples of the infographics you can find online for this as a helpful visual, I would say, for the body and to remember which frequencies could help me. I would say they're like cheat codes, which kind of frequencies can help me with a particular issue or to activate or clear certain chakras. You may also have an interaction with someone, for example, or you experience some sort of shock in a chakra, like my friend who just got in a, very lucky accident today, but as an energy worker, watching their body, watching them clench up, where is that energy going to need help loosening up and moving through the body, right? So my friend definitely was going to be needing some stuff in the shoulders, all of the muscles, I would say in the upper chakras around the heart, kind of we're protecting the heart because the airbag went off, got a little bit crushed. So definitely opening up again the heart. And if you notice you're crunching over yourself, you're likely protecting your heart chakra from a past trauma, basically maybe a parent telling you you're not good enough or being in a crappy mood and being very hard to please. It would make you close up your heart chakra, make you also want to read books and pull into yourself, maybe play handheld video games. Now we have our cell phones. Before that, if you're pulling yourself in and retracting your energy in to hide and block yourself, you may want to move more into listening to stuff for the solar plexus, stuff for the heart, stuff for the blue ray, the higher heart and the throat, just allowing this area to open up and breathe more, which the greens and the blues, which you can see here, correlate with the frequencies of the 9 Solfeggio frequencies, this beautiful scale, which we can now make into this little 9-pointed star, which is wonderful. So this one on the right, hopefully you can see it. Hopefully I'm saying right and left properly, but the one with the star, looking straight up, soul star chakra. The soul star chakra is meant to be kind of like that base place, like where you're first projecting out of. A lot of people think the soul star chakra may be in the center of the earth, for example, but I believe it's almost more than that. It's almost like the chakra that the earth is also kind of connected to on its own spiritual plane as well. We're all kind of connected to that soul star. It's how I understand, or like the earth's soul, our souls are all kind of connected to its original place. And then our earth star chakra is sort of that space right under your feet that anchors you in. And ninjas and so on actually can work with this soul star chakra to learn how to levitate, to jump really far. There is techniques to actually engage the chakra just below the ground, below your feet, as of electromagnetic sort of engagement. I've read about it, I know about it. potentially listening to these frequencies will engage that more, engage healing those things more too. If you're feeling like I'm lost, where's my home? I'm not connected to Mother Nature. Get with these beginning solfeggio frequency notes. Start listening to these ones on the albums and online. There's a bunch. But yeah, so we got Soul Star, pain relief, number 1. Earth Star, increase your energy. Excellent. The root chakra, release grief and fear. Amazing. If you're dealing with that. Sacral chakra, facilitating change. Okay, getting new things done and acquiring new things in your life. You're having a hard time with that. Frequencies for you, this 417. We've got the solar plexus, transformation. Again, if you need to physically become a new person to align with a new goal, a new personality, here you go. Work with these frequencies. Your heart chakra, love and relationships, throat, communication, third eye, intuition and harmony, crown, your higher self. All 9 of these present, all of 9 of them very important. All 9 regions need maintenance all the time. So I always recommend you listen to all 9 frequencies in order from start to finish, uninterrupted, for your very first engagement with these if you haven't done it yet. So I would encourage you to, I think that's my next slide. Play the music on low volume. Be somewhere where you can lay down or meditate in a quiet room where you can just allow this to kind of give you a bath. Now the mix I'm playing right now for you that hopefully you're hearing is a 30-minute mix of all 9. So it's a very short dose, I would say. The mix that I did, each of the mixes were 30 minutes long or something like that. Maybe longer, I don't remember, but I'll show you that one in a second. They could be 4 minutes long and I'm just misremembering, but I listened to a much longer album, but still all 9 frequencies went through. And that was an activation for me personally that I've changed from. It really did work to activate me, and I did it again, but I passed out, and every time I do it now, I fall asleep. I think it's a deeper and deeper healing each time that you do it. So I would encourage you to keep working with this if you get success the first time. And one of the beautiful things that I loved about this was you may have people in your life or in your environment that are not committed and do not prioritize their spiritual cleanliness and their mind, body, spirit health. That just happens. It's very common that we're going to run into people like that. Sometimes you share spaces with these people, car rides, your home, and sometimes these people really love to play music. They love music, and you may notice that these people also have musical tastes that are nostalgic for them. So this is something for comfort, and it's also probably not the best vibe. The lyrics are probably not the best. The sound quality probably isn't the best, and it likely doesn't have the solfeggio frequencies in there as the scale of notes. This music is meant to kind of box you up, those scales, that popular music. But you have the free will, and so does everyone else, to expose yourself and to others to this solfeggio frequencies. And people have free will to get up and walk away, or ask you to turn the music off, or whatever it is. But I notice if you're more so, the saying is asking for forgiveness versus permission. That in this particular situation, I think, is one of those scenarios that it's possible, where you can put on this album that I'm playing on YouTube or whatever, maybe even on your work desktop, and leave it in your office just on really, really, really low, like barely audible even. Or people maybe walk past your desk and go, "Is that music playing?" And then they walk away, right? Very subtle. You don't have to be loud, but loud is fine. I've gotten good results from both, but not from the newbies. They don't like it loud. So you got to start them quiet, and you got to do it when they don't expect it, when they're in the middle of being busy doing something else. then just flick it on. They're not listening to music right now. You're not interrupting their music time, their music hour. This is you introducing some music at a time that they aren't thinking about it, they aren't distracted by it, but all of a sudden it's there in the environment. And I would encourage you to even put it on if the environment is getting hostile, as well as another way, workplace, home. You may not be directly in the line of fire of this hostility, but you can play it off of your phone, even in your car, windows rolled down. Like, there is many opportunities where you see hostility, see an imbalanced area, and go, okay, I'm going to put on this album. I do it all the time, and it works. And usually you only get to maybe solfeggio frequency number 5 or 6. You don't get through all 9 of them by the time someone even notices that something's going on and there's music on. And I've noticed that oftentimes they will ask you, like, hey, can we turn that off? And or then they'll get inspired and they'll put on some other music that you maybe don't want to listen to, but they're seeing music happen. They're getting in on the music train, right? So do what you can. Input it when you can. If someone's open to discussing this, check it out. Watch a YouTube video about the solfeggio frequencies. Watch this one. Who cares? Just get interested. Watch a TikTok about it. Those are really short. Just give it a little bit of something as a way for answering the curiosity. And if they want to know more, they'll keep asking, so you can keep building on it. The rule usually is around give them 10% of the information. If they're hungry for more, you'll definitely know, and they'll be asking for more. Otherwise, they will begin to disassociate and change the subject. And you planted that little 10% seed, and then you got to walk away. And then a year from now, they might message you and be like, hey, what was that music you were showing me? I need to calm down my baby, or I'm opening up a spa and I need some music. I have an elevator and I need some music for it. Something like that, where insert this where you can. So that's the free will, right? So they have the free will to get up, leave the musical range a lot of the time, so it's easy, it's unharmful, and their demons or whatever might need to walk away, just like when you light some sage. It's sometimes a very similar effect. And the sage, all of a sudden somebody's leaving or freaking out or hiding, you know what I'm saying? That stuff will happen. That's why we start with a low volume for the most part. And yeah, they can ask you to stop or whatever. Give it a try though. I've been putting it all over my Instagram account reels because it lets you choose music. I've been putting solfeggio frequencies up there a lot just to begin healing the collective through these healthy biological tones. In my opinion, it's worth it. And I'm glad that this has become a thing. This has become more popular. This is definitely on the rise in popularity, and it's not even hit its peak yet. Not at all. The market is so fresh and ready for this. If this is calling to you and you want to get a product going or working the market with this particular tool, I would say now is an amazing time for that, and go for it. So these musics are here to help clear your mind, body, and spirit, to cleanse it. And again, make sure you're listening in a chill environment where you're not going to be interrupted, so you can get through all 9 without being interrupted. Let all of your chakras have the equal amount of time and attention, of course. Otherwise, of course, you're going to have some issues. And again, this is a passive medicine issue. Like, this is such a healthy, simple thing to add into our culture, into society, because it's so passive, and it's being used against us because it's such a passive mode as well. Like, unhealthy music, unhealthy tones are being, everyone's going, all I'm thinking about for some reason are the malls, where everyone is going to be shopping for holiday gifts this year, and all the people who have to work in those department stores who have to listen to that music and so on. If you have some sort of way to convince your employer to change the music of your box store or where you're shopping, do it to some solfeggio frequency spa music, because people will be happy. People will be buying stuff. People will linger. I'm not even kidding. They will linger in your store more, I think, than that whatever show tuning music that they play during the holidays, right? I believe this would actually bring in more people to your business and keep them there to buy and wanting to be around and invest in your business. So if you have something like that, that would be my advice. Okay, so yeah, I'm recommending uninterrupted sitting is essential for all the chakras to get in tune. I'd also recommend that you, if you want to do this and you're like, when do I listen to all this? A road trip's great, but road trips are also not the best time to fall asleep in a meditation. So this will put you in kind of a state like that. I would caution you to do this driving. I would caution you to do it after sunset. If you're doing anything you need to be paying attention to, don't use this music. This is something you could wake up in the morning to, and as soon as you're up, turn it on and begin making your hot drink, begin tending to your children or your animals or your garbage or whatever chores and routine you have in the morning where you're wearing your pajamas still. You're just getting up, you're going to hydrate, you're going to feed yourself. And by the time you've done all that stuff, hours have gone by sometimes. And again, this one is only 30 minutes long. So you can get a dose of clearing when you wake up in your morning routine just to nourish your chakras in this way with these frequencies is recommended in this presentation. So next thing I need to mention is you need to choose your solfeggio frequency music with discernment. Be very wise with the YouTube videos. And like I mentioned, YouTube has been a place for people to make money from creating videos that would get a lot of clicks and replays. So music videos like these are very popular and in the new age sort of vibe as well, with lots of sacred geometries and whatever. But I want you to tune into all of the options when you're looking them up. Look for the most organically pleasing one. Sacred geometries and so on. You don't need that. We kind of want more flow with this music, not as much, I would say, structure potentially. The structure's already there. So if you're sensing that they're trying a little too hard in the thumbnail and you're listening to the first one and you're like, ooh, this isn't great, move on to a new one because people are putting them out. I would recommend this album, which is you can find pretty much anywhere you can buy music, right? Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. It's pretty much everywhere, by this man named Kev Thompson. And this album came out in 2013. I found this album in 2016, I want to say. He hadn't made any more albums yet and had almost no online presence. And I wanted to use his music in my videos and so on, but I couldn't get a hold of the guy. And since then, I think he became so popular from this album that he was almost forced back. And there are about 4 or 5 albums now where this musician has made, again, all 9 solfeggio frequencies. The next album they did after this original one was with Tibetan crystal song bowls, or no, I think it was, yes, Tibetan bowls. I think it was crystal song bowls. Maybe he had them both. I'm like, either you have Tibetan bowls or you have crystal bowls. I don't remember them being, you have both, but I think that's what I read. But anyways, shout out to him because that was an excellent idea. And there's a few more albums since which I haven't even seen yet. I saw it today. It was like, oh man, I'm falling behind on Kev's music. But shout out to Kev. Don't know who this person is, but this person's album, this first one, was one that I used as an activation. Worked really well, and I use it all the time to clear spaces. I haven't had any issues with it. Love the way it sounds, but I'm here to bridge out, and 2, because I've heard it so many times, I'm happy to bridge out. So the one I'm playing right now for you off of YouTube is actually really good. I'm enjoying it, so that's nice. And then again, you can buy the solfeggio frequencies tuning forks, so you can smack them and put them right on your chakra, the corresponding chakra, to get more contact and immediate, I would say even more reverberation in the flesh. And so if you have some physical trauma, like you were, roughed up for some reason or another, it happens. Trust me, I know, I've been there. And if you have these moments where you were roughed up and then that energy got stuck in your body, tuning forks are an amazing way to resonate it out, shake it out of you. If you have a trauma and so on, shaking is actually an amazing way to get it out. So if you haven't done that yet, I would recommend you just do a shaking fit on your bed, literally just like a spasm. Be careful not to flex or spasm too much of your muscles, like don't flex anything, don't throw out a neck or anything, because that can happen if you get carried away. But it's another amazing thing. You could do it while listening to this. Just shake. The dogs, cats, all animals, babies, they all do it. They shake when they're nervous, but we don't exactly do it, or we stop ourselves a lot of the time. Socially, we stop ourselves. So you gotta shake it out. This is another tip on top. Okay, so the historical of this is something I found very interesting. So we're going to go to solfeggiofrequencyguide.com and read their article. But overall, the big major points from this is, what are the solfeggio frequencies? And they are tones ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la. They were taken from the first stanza of the hymn to St. John the Baptist. So this was a hymn that had these perfectly toned stanzas, basically, that they actually found this like perfection in, this mathematical perfection in. And it was also kind of like a way, I think, to remember the notes and remember this perfection. It was almost like one of those exercise songs or something where you didn't even remember or realize why you were singing this song, but it actually is a tool to help warm up your voice or something like that. But this is a tool to kind of remember the notes. So I'm going to move you to that website really quick. This is the article. So I'm going to read it to you. It says the solfeggio frequencies are powerful meditation and chakra aligning tools. Each of these frequencies is believed to affect different elements of the spirit and energies. The solfeggio tones only need to be listened to for a few minutes a day for the de-stressing effect to take place. Below is an explanation of how each solfeggio tone can be used to help your sound therapy journey, right? So here's another one. This is only 6 of them. See how they only have 6 of them here? So it does get confusing, and I've noticed that issue. We don't even have 6 chakras in the body, so it's been interesting to see that a lot of these have been wanting to break it down to 6 instead of using all 9. It's been an interesting journey, but they'll flip-flop between using both. So it says, what are they? It says an ancient 6-tone scale thought to have been used in sacred spiritual music. So in the chants, I guess they only use the 6 of the tones potentially, and then the other ones are just mathematically also there as part of the scale. That might be why it does this. I was trying to figure this out earlier. The chants and their special tones were believed to impart spiritual blessings if they were sung in harmony. Each tone is comprised of a frequency required to balance your energy and keep your body, mind, and spirit in perfect harmony. The tones are best when it's almost impossible to hear them on their own. These frequencies do not need to be listened to at high volumes. I've mentioned this. It's actually discouraged, it seems like they're saying on this article. So here is the full list. See, all 9 are here. Isn't that funny? So, where do these tones come from? According to Professor Willie Appel, the original of the ancient solfeggio scale can be traced back all the way to the medieval hymn to John the Baptist. The hymn has this peculiarity that the first 6 lines of the hymn commenced respectfully on the first 6 successive notes of the scale, and thus the first syllable of each line was sung to a note 1 degree higher than the first syllable of the line that preceded it. Because the music held a mathematical resonance, the original frequencies were capable of spiritually inspiring mankind to be more spirit kind. So the original scale was developed by apparently Benedictine monk Guido di Arezzo, potentially, back in 991 AD, sorry. Just 1991, you guys, it was so recent. No, a while ago, much farther time ago. It was used by singers to learn their chants, like I mentioned, and songs more easily. Today we know the solfeggio scale as 7 ascending notes. Isn't that so weird? Again, another number assigned to syllables do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. The original scale was 6 ascending notes, ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la. The syllables for the scale were taken from a hymn to St. John the Baptist. Okay, so in the mid 1970s, Dr. Joseph Puello, a physician and American leading herbalist, actually found 6 electromagnetic sound frequencies that corresponded to the syllables from the hymn in that tune. So they're going to actually go into the math of this, and it gets more and it gets more. And it's very interesting how math actually works so well when it comes to the body and our reality. So I'm going to scroll down to the actual words that were in this ancient song, basically. But if you could see, they highlighted the notes basically, and the notes that you would sing these are at these frequencies, these 6 ancient ones, which are audible. And each one of these beginning, I want to say, lines, was it, of the verse, the speaking verses, are making the singers hit these notes in the first stanza of this hymn. Now I'm going to play this hymn for you as well. I brought it on so you can hear it. It says the syllables in this were studied very closely by and created some more sound pioneering. They began understanding that each of these 6 syllables, these 6 notes, were able to have an effect. Why do we forget about them? Because we are now using a different scale, the 12-tone equal temperament. And it's funny because in this episode, we are dealing with a 6 and a 9 for numbers right now, and a scale or a geometry. And in the last one, we were dealing with a 12-pointed star, or 12 geometry. So I thought it was funny. So we're going from 12 to 9 to 6. So maybe, I guess, with the feng shui workshop, we'll be dealing with 3 more, and which is probably very true. And we're getting these number codes through each month also. So this month, the number codes are 9 and 6 for sure. So that was very interesting. And so I'm going to pause the other music. Wherever that went. Whoop. Okay, great, because the other one's over anyway. So here is what it sounded like. And some information. Ut cuent laxis is a chant hymn found in the Liber Usulius, dating at least to the 11th century, proper for the feast of St. John the Baptist on June 24th, which is somebody I know's birthday. That's so very interesting to me. The hymn is the source for what we have come to know as the solfege syllables, ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la. So those are the 6 solfege syllables. So this is when they're singing them. And a creative mnemonic device, the first syllable of each phrase begins with an intervallic step above the previous, creating 6 tones of a musical scale and the basis for a hexachord. So again, the hexagon is here. But we're just going to listen.
Mira gestorum, famolitorum, solve polluti, labireatum.
And that's funny too, because the song, it's cool to watch the notes. Again, I'm not musically trained and I don't know how to read sheet music very well. I did have a little bit in primary school, but really I didn't keep up with it. But it was great to watch the singing, actually word for word, note for note, to see how the singer was actually interpreting the notes and reading them. So it helped me understand actually how to do it better. But this hymn is also about allowing like your voice to open up and allowing community to be had and allowing for cleanliness to be had, for the voice of God and the purity, the frequency, purity of our voices and of our spirit to be heard and to be shared. And so it's a powerful hymn also. And so it's interesting that in this hymn was embedded the solfeggio syllables in a way. And then that was so very long ago, 11th century, and then all the way into now, we could still be inputting these sort of things into our music to keep this sort of, I would say, structure. And I'm curious if there are any songs that have taken this and then modernized it. But again, you to me, this is another really awesome idea. If you have the musical ability to do something like this, put this into your music if you can. Do more work into this scale. Check it out. So again, here is the Solfeggio Frequencies album that I love from Kev Thompson. This is on Apple Music. You can see here, they actually have a 5 hertz theta song on here as well. I didn't see anywhere else online talking about 5 hertz. So this was him. This was him inserting this as another healing layer. And I like that layer. I enjoyed it in this album. And I didn't even fully research what he did with that or why he would have put that in there. But you can see here at the top, it's classified as healing musical soundscapes for meditation, spa, yoga, and deep relaxation. So if you need a spa energy going on in your workplace and your home, and some spa energy doesn't seem too wild and out of place, put this in here. Put this in here. And like I said, he has other albums. Let's see the lengths. So yeah, each of these songs is around 10 to 7 minutes long, I would say. And so it's a decent amount for each of the frequencies that you're getting exposed to. It's a good dose. And overall, it's an hour and 15 minutes long, this album. So you have, like I said, he has other albums out now: 2013, 2019, 2022, and 2023. This looks like it's just the 1 hertz. Ooh, this is cool. I haven't heard the grounded one. This is the Tibetan singing bowls. Okay, so it isn't crystal bowls, it's Tibetan singing bowls. Okay, I did have that mixed up earlier. I apologize. It's funny rewatching the classes and then seeing any sort of misspoken mistake that I didn't catch. As an educator, you're like, if you make a mistake while you're trying to teach somebody something and you tell them the wrong thing, you're responsible for that in a way too. And I just hope that, obviously something in their life can correct them and make them realize that I also was wrong. But I think about that sometimes. And I wonder about university professors and teachers and so on as they begin their careers, like how many times they do something like that. And that just made me feel a little better about making mistakes, but I'll try to correct them if I can. And if you see a mistake, please make a comment. And if I see a mistake, I will make a comment under this too and let you know, just a heads up with the past classes and so on as well. So again, we're moving into business applications of this. We have with musical works and with sound and frequency medicine, there is a visible possibility to display to your customers and display to those who are not quite understanding the effects of frequency or music can have on your body. I would point them in the direction towards cymatics. We aren't going to do a big workshop on cymatics, but this is very much integral to this concept and understanding how this medicine can help and how it can be applied. So this person was able to create or take a photograph, it looks like, of the cymatics of 174 hertz, which is the first solfeggio frequency, and the second solfeggio frequency, the 285 right here. So if you can see, whoops, let's just look at the slideshow version. It'll be much prettier. Here it is. So we have, obviously, on the left, these are the photographs, and on the right, this is a product that they've actually made, printing off the image of the cymatic pattern that these frequencies make as a piece of, potentially like a piece of jewelry, or I don't even know what you could use this for. Sure, it looks like you could even use it as some sort of circuit board. Really, it does. Like the way that they're printing these looks very similar to a motherboard to me. So the potentials for this being more common in our technology, maybe in the future or now, and I'm not even knowing about it, seems very applicable. So cymatics is when you have a nice flat, usually a metal surface, like you can see on the left, a metal plate, and they put sand on top of this metal plate. And then against the edge of the metal plate, they'll usually use like a violin bow or something of the like. And depending on what sound you want, of course, but usually they'll put the bow against the edge of this plate, so the friction is against the edge of the plate like this. So the bow is in my hand and they press it up against the edge of the plate, and it'll shake the plate and it'll shake the sand on top, and in doing so it'll reveal the pattern of the frequency that was just played through that plate by rubbing against it, if you know what I mean. And so we can rub all different kinds of things against this plate, all different notes or different bow strings, different lengths, and so on. It's going to create a different frequency, right? Different pattern. And there's a variety of patterns that show up in the sand. Oops. And that particular pattern will show up in the matter in your body and the minerals floating around in the water in your body and stuff like that. It's evidence that these three-dimensional patterns of sound can ripple out and leave impressions. It's an excellent way to teach children about the invisibility and then the visibility of sound, people who want to be musicians and so on. It would be great to even just play your own song through a cymatic plate, which I know you can get, and see what patterns show up. And does it make you feel good? Like, is that kind of the vibe you want? Or is it give you a deeper insight about the emotions you're putting into your music and the work you're putting out there? It gives you a different, more three-dimensional understanding. So with the solfeggio frequencies, there are patterns for each of these frequencies that show up too that look just like this. These are the patterns of the first two. Now look at the differences between them. See what looks different and what you can imagine maybe the next one will look like. There is a progression within these mathematically fractally. So the first one, top left, has a smaller star in the center. The one at the bottom, the star in the center, has grown a little bit bigger, a few more radiating arms, it even looks like, and the complexity of the layer next to it has changed into trident looking forks instead of those, I would say, those kind of flowery bubbles in the first one. So there's a difference. What these pictures make and how they look, I wasn't able to find an image for you that showed all 9 solfeggio frequencies. I believe I saw one online that showed something which was the anti or potentially the opposite frequency of the solfeggio frequencies and what they looked like. But that was actually a part of cymatics that I hadn't heard of. And so reading into it, it was like the antipole or something like that of the frequencies. And I was like, wow, that's new and it's going over my head. But if you see that online and you're aware of those terms, you may want to take a check and check it out. But these are the ones that I found from eolix.com and their products as a way to show you more what it looks like, what it would look like if you could see sound. So why am I doing all of this hard work? I mean, God, there are so many different directions I could have gone with my life, and doing these workshops and uploading this stuff for free online, educating and sharing the education that I received and what I found worked for me and my path, and repackaging that and putting it out there for the next generation or for passing it on for whoever wants it, because people have done that for me. I've been watching and learning all this information online for free by other people who put in that effort. And I'm just adding to the body of knowledge. And I hope that it inspires you to appreciate people who really go out there and attempt to understand and re-embody, I would say, organic and harmless methods and alternative methods for healing. So health issues are still being prescribed inorganic medications. I just had somebody messaging me that they just got pills for high blood pressure. And to me, it's just like, oh no, I know this person does not need medication. You know what I mean? They need help. They need to relax. They need to be put in a solfeggio frequency chamber and let to have a nice, deep meditative nap and reset themselves. And I bet you they wouldn't need their medication. But it's this instant gratification. But thankfully, with music, instant gratification still an option. You can still just slap that music on, and within seconds you will take another breath and adjust to the frequencies that are proliferating through your body. So music permeates your whole body without cost, and this is good and bad, so make sure you don't forget about that. If you're like in a crowd in a concert and you're like, this isn't vibing with me, get away from it. Get away from it. It's not worth it, because you're going to have to fix yourself, and you're wasting time and energy on something you don't want to participate in. So get away from those sounds. But again, this is a temporary solution. This is temporary medicine. It can be brought in and taken out immediately, harmlessly. Music on, music off. You aren't going to go into withdrawal. You aren't going to have your nervous system isn't going to freak out. You're going to be able to turn music on, turn music off. Simple, easygoing. And you also get to exercise your freedom and your instincts and your body's natural reactions and your dosage to this music. It's completely controlled to you and controlled by you, excuse me. And of course, if you're exposing your children to this, I just would say teach your children always to vocalize when they are uncomfortable from music, and give them the words, give them the sentences to politely ask whoever it is playing music in their environment, would you mind turning it down? Or would you mind if we listen to a different song? Or would you mind if we listen to this, and give a suggestion of something to make it a little easier to shift the vibe? Give them those kind of words and sentences, and give them that confidence and that strength. Again, if you're in an environment like a concert, or you're in someone's car or something and they're playing music that doesn't feel right to you, get away from it. And it's totally cool. It's totally cool to do it. And if somebody's giving you a hard time, just be like, do you know what cymatics are? Have you heard of cymatics? And most of the time, I guess if they're being stubborn, they would probably say no, and be like, sound has structure, and this music's making me uncomfortable. So I just got to be honest with you, and let's try and find a sweet spot that works for both of us, and both of our bodies are happy. It's incredible the amount I've seen of passivity and what people will allow in the music industry, even what they allow music to be and what they allow music to play in their own place. And we've become this passive listeners of this stuff that's being pushed down our throats. And it was not created with an organic, biological, I would say, godly intention. It wasn't made to make you feel healthy. It was made potentially to fuel a business that is fueling illegal activity and things like that. And that's just reality. Pretty much everybody who's ever seen any sort of controversial music or musicians, they've been in real trouble and have real life issues. And the frequencies from their medicine relay their pain, relay their distorted opinions, relay their aggression, relay their trauma, just because it's coming out of their body while they're experiencing it. So there's all these oldies and so on, where people who were killed in gang violence made music, and now about their gang violence, and those people are now passed on, and that music still remains, and these frequencies are still being permitted and permeated. So that's kind of the mention here. And guardian training too is like, let's get a handle over that wherever we can. And I'm talking about every public business, every single place that we can get, everywhere that you shop, mention something about the music if it's bothering you, because the more, it's like the squeaky wheel gets the grease. The more comments, the more seeds you're planting. And either way, it's going to be in the right direction. The momentum is going to push us towards more solfeggio frequencies instead of less. And whatever else you're into, other harmonic tones. So the next time that you want to dose, or someone at home or is uncomfortable. So if you're feeling like reaching for your pharmaceutical medication, instead of doing so, if it's not completely imperative for your health. You aren't going to, I have people who have organ transplants in my life, so they have a different relationship with medication. But if that's not your case, but you are finding yourself uncomfortable and you have a routine of reaching for medication, I would ask you please to attempt to try the solfeggio frequencies first and give them a little bit of time. Again, the one video we listened to is only 30 minutes long. And in that time, see where you're at, see how you adjust. Like I said, you only need a few minutes. The article said you only need a few minutes, and reevaluate what you want to do with your health after that moment. Go ahead and go for your medication after if that's what you feel guided to do next. I want you to do what you feel guided to do with full confidence. And if you're not having confidence, make sure you're cranking the solfeggio frequency for your solar plexus. There's lots of those graphics online, so you can do so. So here we are in the final slide about taking your power back, basically, and changing Earth. One other mention is radios have a very high EMF radiation. I've taken my EMF radiation monitoring machine, put it up next to people's radios at their desks when I used to work in a cubicle. And I just watched that they were being bathed in so much radiation from this radio. And then what they're playing on the radio is all corporate funded. Like it's controlled. Most of it is very controlled. There are Christian stations and so on that have songs about, connecting with the spirit of love and the spirit of life and so on, but still there's distortions there and so on. And if it's coming out of the radio, you have no idea what's going to play next. You don't know what commercials are coming on. You also don't know exactly what you're physically hearing. And I'll be honest with you, there are frequencies that you do not hear that still affect your organs. So radios, I do not trust them, would not recommend them. Get away from them. If you're hearing it playing somewhere, get away from it. If you're playing it in your car, do something else. Play solfeggio frequencies in your car instead. I would highly recommend doing that. The only reason you would need a radio is for emergency reasons. Get a two-way radio. I got one-way radio for an emergency that's solar powered and crank powered. So if there's ever something I need to listen to the radio for, like power's, out and whatever, and I need to hear something, I can't even send a signal out, but at least I can hear if anything crazy is going on and updates. I have something like that for emergency. That's the only reason I'd recommend it. Next thing, again, corporate background music for healthy spa spaces. Create the spa everywhere you're working, being in that relaxed, chill state, very efficient. It's actually very ergonomic, which is the next point. I mentioned here Kev Thompson classes his music as spa music. I already told you that. Just in case it makes your gears turning. If you're going to make this, you need to market this to a broader audience. Spa music, it'll do wonders. It'll get clicks. Like if you know how to make that stuff, you can make money online right now from making something like that. Guarantee from the clicks and stuff. It's people play spa music at their work off of YouTube all the time. So many businesses use YouTube music for running their stuff. So let's take advantage of that. Again, the booming market, there's a huge booming market for this biologically compatible mood, music, atmosphere. Again, next month is feng shui. We're going to talk more about feng shui in general. So this is something to feng shui your house, get the energies fixed up, just like sage, but you don't need to burn anything. And yeah, the ergonomics of your office space, of your workspace, of your home space is going to improve with these. I would say 100%. Like there's a 100% chance it's going to improve the space unless someone is having a full-blown meltdown and any noise is going to be overstimulating to them. Then maybe don't. Maybe just let them listen to the wind for a little while until they feel better. But overall, this is going to work and help out. So if we're here to change the Earth Guardians, I hope that you'll use these tips and go out and create more applications for the solfeggio frequencies to be woven into our culture, into our aesthetic here on Earth. And my challenge to you from this workshop, Guardians, is how many people can you introduce this passive chakra alignment, scale these frequencies to? How many people do you think you can expose? Do you have a business where people come in and out all day? You can plant those seeds, those healthy frequency seeds in these people just by playing these music, the solfeggio frequencies. It's a beautiful thing. So Our next workshop is November 18th, 2023. It's going to be about feng shui. I am getting some interesting, I would say literally just today, I got some interference about this date and some double booking, which is interesting. So this day is likely going to be busy for you, busy for us. And because this never happens to me, I've been doing this for now a year, and I don't think anyone's booked over the 18th, and it accidentally just hasn't happened yet. So I'm interested about that. I may pre-record the exercise or the workshop for you guys to help with that issue with the timing, or who knows, it might work out perfectly, but I just want to warn you ahead of time. If you're on my Patreon, you're going to get tons of warnings. I'm going to give you all the updates. We have a whole month until we have to worry about it. And I'm going to take that time to be sure I'm ready and giving you the best little workshop I can, of course, to give you that feng shui upgrade, Guardians. And I feel like I'm wheezing for some reason when I'm breathing. I was like, is that me? I really am. There's like a whistle deep in my. That is so bizarre. No idea why I'm wheezing a whistling noise. It's like I've swallowed a squeaky toy. So strange. But I'm going to listen to my solfeggio, just pound on my chest a little bit, get those cavities moving, open up my heart chakra, and let that air out. But yeah, then we'll have December. We're going to do astrology basics too. In December, we're going to finish out 2023 with the monthly workshops. And then today I was meditating about what we're going to do, what 2024 is going to be for us all, for Ascension Diaries, for all my followers. Like, what are we going to do to level it up? What are we going to do to keep upping our game, the training? And what came to mind was actually something really funny. And I believe I'm going to be starting some entertainment, creating something that's a little more entertaining instead of specifically educational. And I was thinking about doing interviews with extraterrestrials and potentially having special guests that are extraterrestrials that we would interview. And it would be playful, I would say. It would be a bridge between extremely surreal and legit, and then playfully not real. And the idea was basically to kind of move us into our galactic community a little bit easier, easing our way into it with a little bit of comedy, a little bit of playfulness, and playing on the community at large, the disclosure community as well, because being a galactic guardian and a guardian of Earth requires us to be on the up and up and understanding of the galactic situation. So we know how we orient and how we can be of service if we are needed from our here position on Earth with the rest of the political and so on that's happening with the rest of our stars and so on. And I don't know why it came in mind, but basically I have a friend who also does a series, and his is called Interview with an Extra Dimensional Being. So it's kind of a play on that as well. I noticed afterwards, was like, oh, my friend does a show just like this. But you can see the person they're interviewing. You can see that they're clearly not a alien person. They're a human being who is maybe channeling an extra dimensional being or the extra dimensional version of themselves, and they're channeling in this galactic information. And he loves to interview them. I've watched lots of his interviews. It's been awesome. And then there's other people who do interviews with people who are anonymous. And that was kind of the fun part for me, was kind of making it anonymous. So the person I'm going to be interviewing, you won't be able to know who it is in a way visually, but it will be kind of like that. It's almost like a crime interview. But again, this alien is anonymous. They don't want to be known about yet, but they want to talk to civilization and they want to get some information out there. So that was kind of the buildup in my mind. And never have I thought about a project like this before. It hit me all at once today, and I laughed and I laughed and I laughed because it is such a mix of some of the medias and the modes I've been seeing the last couple of years that men are doing to kind of help with this disclosure thing. And now I feel like I'm gathering it all and I'm mushing it all together, and I'm creating a different environment for this conversation that'll be more playful and offer us maybe a different context to have discussions about our galactic selves, about the galactic community, and so on. And that will be 2024's goal. And perhaps I'll be doing these interviews in beautiful grid points and places. And I will be talking to different people, and they'll be their anonymous alien selves in a way and play with that potential and how they want to play with it. It'll be interesting. So I've never shot anything like this camera wise before. I don't have training in film and or drama or acting or anything like that. So I've had to learn everything just by watching people on YouTube and other creators and copy how I can. But this will require two chairs, like a studio, two camera angles. It'll be very interesting. And I'm excited to work on that project in 2024. So I'm going to do less of those, but they'll be more concentrated. And then the community will have the opportunity to participate and have fun and like kind of come to the event like it's going to be, in a way, a performance, in a way, an entertaining performance that we can all enjoy. And it's giving me almost medieval times energy as well, where you're coming to cheer on your team at the interview or at the interview with alien. And if you're team alien or a team interviewer or whatever, it's funny how it's coming through in my mind, and the joy and the jubilance behind it is funny, because being an educator is great, being serious is great, facts and spewing facts perfectly verbatim and depth of detailed education I'm not the best at, but I took a swing at it this year just to force myself into the activity of it, to force myself to get better as an educator and work on making classes like this, workshops like this, see how I liked it. And I really liked it. And I liked it so much that I was inspired to move on to another creative idea for 2024, which is really cool. And I do think I'm going to be running into more people. So that's why I think I'm going to be integrating more people in our community and playing with them a little bit, because ego is a big part of this. And in a way, if you make the ET anonymous, they don't get that ego trip, but they get to play in a way with their ego at the same time. So it's an interesting template that I'm downloading to create. And I look forward to the first one. And hopefully they're going to be a hit. And the next one's going to be even better. And 2024 is going to be an interesting, playful year, it seems like, for this. And I will just keep updating with many educational things as well for Guardian training constantly on my social medias, to the Patreon, and so on. We're going to keep up with the live streams, keep up with the space weather. I'm not dropping anything. I'm just adding something new as a to begin training, doing, and practicing, because interviews are an amazing way to get testimonials out, spread information, kind of alleviate the stress of having all of it, all the onus on you. You sharing it with your interviewer, who's also educated in the matter, helps bring out and even process a lot of that stuff the testimonies can really bring out. And I've watched a lot of really serious personal testimonies about ET contact and about extra dimensional beings, about dream contact, about even traumatic situations with these beings, and the veils and beyond the veils, the astral plane, the dream world. Like, some people have had horrible dream experiences, and then beyond, like, angelic dream experiences, like shooting into other dimensions and astral projecting all over the place. Like, there's so many things people get to talk about, but to embody new personas and embody their ET selves and embody some things, it's like it hasn't quite happened yet. And so it seems like this will be an interesting way to massage people into that role, and also remember a little bit more of who they are, how they are galactically, and what the galactic community is really up to right now. So that is the goal. That is the vision, I would say. After December, we have a few more months until then, but I wanted to let you know and put that out there to like get the gears turning, because we're all doing this together. A lot of you are participating with me and co-creating all of this stuff for Ascension Diaries, and we're building on it and enjoying ourselves. So I just want to thank you for being here on my channel. I just saw that I've uploaded 555 videos to my YouTube channel since 2016, or I think that's when it started. And it's been a lot of videos. I've done a lot of hours of content and so many hundreds of posts on social media too. I love creating. I love putting stuff out there. I love resharing information. I'm having a great time, increasing momentum, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. If anything, I'm just getting more comfortable with myself and with my style of communicating to you, communicating these topics, and communicating what I'm here to do and serve and open up even in the galactic community too, which is interesting. And it's been a fleeting understanding. So I think 2024, we're going to be anchoring that in a little more. And I've been getting that message a lot the last few weeks. So that's really cool and exciting. I'm excited to participate in that, participate in the play in that as well, which may be counteracting to some people who are taking it very, very masculine and going very toxic masculine, super serious about it and scary. And then we're going to go and we have other directions we can take it. So I'm not saying calling anyone out specifically for that either. I don't know of anyone specifically doing that all the time that I'm still following or still talking to as a friend. I've let all those kind of people wander off and continue their path, spreading seeds how they do, even if it's seeds of, you know, doubt and reconsideration of certain things. That's still good. Still teaching people discernment. So it's been a wonderful journey so far this year doing these guardian trainings. And if you liked it, please hit the like, send a comment, check out Solfeggio frequencies yourself, and continue with me on my patreon.com/Ascension Diaries for all the other activities next month. Next month's workshop on making your life more feng shui coherent. If that's something you haven't kept up with, this is what guardian training's here to do, is that housekeeping. I'm looking forward to that. So my birthday's in a few days. I just wanted to give you all a little bit of extra birthday magic for October. And off you go back into the ether and the ethernet. And I will see you on social media or text me or whatever. Until next time, if there's any more comments also by those who were here and watching the workshop, any more comments or questions, I'm just going to read really quick for you guys. Thank you again, Alex, Angie, and Jasmine for being here. And those of you who are watching the replay, thank you so much for your support. It really means a lot to have your encouragement. It is tricky to go out here and just do this work just off of the, like, just out of my own volition, out of my own passion. No one's requiring me to do this. I'm just doing it. So I'm appreciative of people who are consuming it and encouraging me to keep going, because I really needed that to help me feel comfortable even doing guardian training for you. But I've been preparing many years and I was very ready. So I'm glad I've been doing it. Excellent. So releasing from the chest again, big breath. We are here to change the earth for the better. And I will see you guys on the next one. Ta-ta for now.